Hey, welcome everybody. Listen, I know this is Beyond the Booth at 6 o'clock on Monday and it's 6:30. Well, I got my daughter home today, and trust me, as a dad, it was worth delaying these guys 30 minutes. Tonight, we got something special. First, it's Phil Harris over to the right, Randall Cunningham here. Phil, in between us is, I think, something every football program talks about having, but we really don't talk about it a lot, and that's the quarterback club. Joey represents the Sequatchie County Quarterback Club, and they play a vital part in bringing it together.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, down here we have a quarterback club and athletic club, and, they are so vital to our programs because sports has become an investment, and you have to raise money. And, these kids to have, nice equipment, nice facilities. These helmets cost about $300 a piece now, and that money don't. Used to cloth was funded by the schools. That don't happen anymore.
No.
If it for our athletic departments, these kids would be wearing nothing very nice.
Joey Evitts, he said 300. Chad Barker corrected me and said 800 the other night.
Well, there may be. I think Speed Flex is 500 or 600, something like that.
And not only on top of that, let's talk about it. Sequatchie County Quarterback Club makes a major investment in the program. And for a 3A school, Sequatchie County it has a pristine campus and football stadium. What's your role in that?
Well, we're real fortunate to be in a county where there's only one school system. So our admin, our school board, our athletic director are extremely supportive. But we get to invest all into one spot. Campus, it's one of the most impressive public school campuses in the state. With my boys, we've been to football camps lots all over different states, and our campus is second to none with facilities. But that has been an investment from the school board and county commissioners for years and years and years to always constantly be improving. And so it only seems fitting for volunteers to try to match that effort and match that energy. So our kids have, the best equipment, the best support. And in this community, all you have to do is ask and work. And people are willing to sponsor. They're willing to donate their time. And, our kind of goal as a club is to just, for the kids and coaches to not ever have something they need because of money. If it's equipment, if it's food, if it's a charter bus, we want to be able to get the kids and coaches all the support that they need.
Even down to Phil, and I'll come to you after this question. I've spent the last decade with Sequatchie County, and I can't tell you the number of uniform combos that we can pull out.
Yeah, we have four jerseys and 4 pants and 2 helmets, and I think what Coach does is he lets the seniors kind of pick the combo out every week. You never know what they're gonna come out in. They have a lot of fun out of it. It also extends the life of the uniforms because you're not wearing them as much. So I mean, it works out better that way anyway.
And purple and gold shows so good, Phil. I know you're kind of fond of that purple too, being a Valley graduate. So go ahead, and of course, we're gonna spin back after you finish up, Phil. We're gonna talk about expectations with Sequatchie this year, which is a mile high.
Well, I want to ask you this, Joey, and it's this way at a lot of schools. Do you feel like, especially football, athletics, in general, but especially football, they're kind of the front porch of your entire school system?
That is 110% correct. And our all of our athletics work together, try to support one another, and administration is real supportive. We allow all of the other teams, and my boys play other sports too. They fundraise at the football games. The band has one concessions, and the other concessions rotating, and other sports set up, take up for parking and tents, and our crowds at the football game kind of allow everybody to benefit. So, a good football team brings bigger crowds, and everybody makes more money.
Tell me this: when it comes to fundraisers, do you get the kids involved? Like, for instance, if you have a quarterback club fundraiser, do you get the kids involved in the fundraiser because you want to know where that money comes from, and they need to do a little bit on their own, even though they're part of the team?
We do. Coaches organize a spring fundraiser and then a summer fundraiser, and then we do corporate. We have corporate sponsors. We have a really good corporate sponsorship program. Literally couldn't do what we do without them. And then we have a program, a game day program that we give away, and we have sponsors in that. That's sort of the ways we're producing most of our funds.
Well, Joey, I want to ask you this. Of course, here where I'm at, getting people to volunteer to help in our athletic clubs and quarterback clubs is tough. It's hard to get them to do it. Sometimes they just about have to force parents to get involved. Especially that happens a lot of times at a small schools. Now, you have great backing and great communities that come in and support the team, but sometimes I think they kind of forget about the behind the scenes of how much it costs. Of course, you being the president, you can kind of delegate. Do you have enough of a staff and enough of volunteers that everything kind of works together, kind of like you want it to be like clockwork? It ain't always going to be that way, but that's the goal.
Sure. And, I've got the title of president, but Nathan Smith, he does way more heavy lifting than I do as far as bookkeeping and keeping up with keeping our bills paid and all of that. He's a pilot, so he's gone a lot through the week, but he can do his role, from anywhere in the country. We have a really good board of directors, and we have pretty good parent support, but they're always willing if you'll just ask, and if you'll say, hey, we communicate like everybody else through a group, and you throw out there, hey, we need 4 people to do this. We need 4 people to set the tunnel up, and somebody will pick it up. Yesterday we're redoing the artwork on the field house, and I put out there, hey, at 2:00, show up. It shouldn't take long. We had a really good group of people show up and take the old artwork off so the new artwork can come on. But you mentioned clockwork. Once the season starts, we have game day routine if it's a home game or an away game. We do a pregame meal. We do halftime food for the guys. Post-game meal if it's an away game, and that gets going where everybody knows, what they're doing. And but yeah, we do delegate. Different people are responsible for different things. As far as got a guy that's responsible for the chains, and every week I don't have to worry about that. I know he's going to have his chain crew, and if somebody's sick, he's going to find somebody else.
Yeah, that's great to hear, because in other words, what you're saying, you have your game day.
Sure,
going to happen, but everybody has a role, and if
absolutely
role, and then that makes your job easier.
Yes, sir.
My role is when Joy texts me, is to walk down the hall and make sure HR sent the check for the quarterback club sponsor.
Man Hummel is one of our corporate sponsors and has been since we started the president before me, Sue Ann Lockhart, she really teed us up for success. She started this corporate sponsorship program, and we've been able to keep the core sponsors and add one or two every year. And that has allowed us to do a lot of things for coach, a lot of things for the kids, add new equipment, technology wise, we, on Friday nights, we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 iPads that are going, and TV and cameras. And, we want to do it right.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, I want to ask you, of course, you double as doing the PA for football games. Do you really enjoy doing that, or do you kind of miss out sometimes?
Well, I actually don't. What I do on Friday nights, because I do have a lot of nervous energy. I usually help Randall and them guys get set up if we're on the road. I help our camera crew set up and work the huddle on the ODK as far as making sure offense and defensive plays are getting cut up. And then I script the defensive plays for our defensive coordinator.
You forgot your most important duty. Joey has the greatest playlist in the history of the free world, Phil. So Joey's playlist is the voice of football.
The kids don't like it. They always tell me, it's not any good. But I tell them it's not locker room music. We got the old folks and the little kids running around, so we got to keep it PG.
You'll hear some Journey.
Yeah,
Journey on us.
Yeah, because both of us in the stands are kind of the old folks, and we want to, Thunderstruck, something like that.
Yeah,
nothing like these new kids like nowadays.
That's what I told them. I said, guys, you don't want these guys writing these big checks to come in here and hear some vulgar music.
We don't have young Jeezy or young NBA.
That's right. Yeah.
You might get some Zach Bryant.
That's right.
Well, tell me this. Of course, you go through all this game day routine. Of course, you've got a son playing.
Two.
Got two.
But the starting quarterback right now, Sam, I guess gets a little emotional sometimes. This is his last year. Absorb everything. I know you have a lot of distractions, but you want to be a dad come.
Oh, I agree with that. And I've always liked to be as involved as I could be and support and, try to not miss. I've been fortunate enough to help, coach middle school when they were playing middle school and then be around the high school program in this role. And I've probably by volunteering and doing this been able to get a lot more time with my boys than I would have been able to just showing up and watching on Friday nights.
Of course, I guess most of the time you leave most of the coaching up to the staff because, but I'm sure you often have some, advice for your son, and I guess it comes in a role as, how you conduct yourself on the field.
Oh, I've told my guys since they were little, attitude, effort, and body language is all I'm worried about. I don't know, 2 years ago, Sam was playing a high school basketball game, and we got beat. Team, probably should have beat that night, but we didn't. And he comes in and he's, kind of down about, I did this bad, I did that bad. I said, the only thing I'm upset with was your body language and you coming out of the locker room at halftime. I said, that's all I'm worried about. And some nights you're going to play good and some nights you're not. And, as his position at quarterback, there's plenty of decisions, that throughout the season we watch, we watch his film, we watch his practice film every night, and we watch his game film 100 times. And there's plenty of things that you would like to do different or have a different, hit a check down or free access or something. But as long as, you're your attitude, your effort, your body language, your preparation is there. That's that. Just let them play.
Yeah, I understand that. And that's what a dad's role is, I believe, in football or any sports. Is you got to be supportive and correct them on. They're going to make errors. They're going to make mistakes. They're young people, and natural.
Sure.
Well, Joey, I want to ask you this: when you're away from football and you can get away from, say, the quarterback club president and those types of things, what do you and your family do for fun?
We do a lot of things together. I've got a little girl she just turned 9. So, entertaining her is a whole different set of activities than entertaining the boys. I have a family farm up in Smith County. We spend a lot of time up there. We travel a little and, just stay pretty busy. I will say this, the past few years, we are pretty much 12 months a year, some level of football, but I love it. There's nothing I like more than, on a Saturday morning, Sam has a quarterback guy that we work with, and receivers are free because you need receivers. So me and my 2 boys will load up and we'll go to a quarterback workout. We've got a group of kids here that does a lot of volunteer workouts on their own. And so I'm up there a lot. I let the guys in the facility and just hang out and watch them work out. And, my little girl might be riding her bike around the track while we're doing it or something. So just trying to soak in as much, as we can, just spending time together.
Yeah, because that's great. I mean, because, I guess you kind of sometimes it's hard to take vacations, but if you're with your children, and with your family, that means more than anything else. It don't matter if you're playing tiddlywinks.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. Sam has got bitten by the golf bug. He's going to the driving range. Like, we've got a little driving range over here off the East Valley. He's going over there, 3 or 4 times a week. And so we've been playing a little golf too.
Yeah.
He throws a football a lot better than he hits a golf ball. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but the thing is, one thing about being a football, being a great athlete, usually you can walk on the golf course and be good at it.
He hits it pretty good sometimes.
Hey, Phil, one thing about the Evitts family, though, similar to us, every now and then, not as much as we do, you might catch them on Knoxville on a Saturday, too.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Lifelong Tennessee fan, and my boys are as well. We've been to tons of games. Their first game was that Oklahoma game at night that we lost in overtime. But I took them we got season tickets, and we've been to tons of games. Over the years, basketball, we've been to tons of basketball games.
Makes it a little harder with.
I guess we'll talk more about football in the upcoming season, but I want to ask you about this. Sam's being recruited. Of course, you don't know what's going to happen between now and then. I know when you're in a position he's in, we've got a couple of guys down here. They're waiting for that senior film, so to speak, before some places are, really going to commit because there's a lot involved. How is life going to change if Sam goes on and plays at the next level? How is it going to change for your family? I'm sure you're going to try to be at every ball game you can.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've already talked about it. He does have quite a bit of interest. He has one offer from Maryville College up in East Tennessee. He has another offer from a little private up in Indiana. But we're going to figure it out, and it's going to involve next season, the next 2 seasons. It's going to involve repping up in Dunlap or wherever we're at on Friday night, and then we're going to head to wherever he's at on Saturday. That's we've done talked about it. We're going to make that work because we definitely don't want to miss.
Or do you? Of course, I'll turn it over to Randy and let him ask some questions. Do you remind Sam every once in a while to cherish every moment, absorb everything? Because this is a special time. I mean, winning championships are important, but these memories that they chase, the teammates, because you're not ever going to be with these guys ever again in the group. So you need to cherish every moment. Do you remind him of that?
Yes, sir. We talk about that regularly. We talked about that this morning. It was their first day of school. I always tell him he's in a season of last. He's doing a lot of a lot of things for the last time. And today was his first day in Sequatchie County. First weekend pads, and he's playing with his brother this year. Last year, Jack was on the team, but he had a little knee injury we had to kind of get cleaned up. So he sat while we got that right. But we talk about that a lot. And I'll tell you this, all of these college coaches are consistently telling him there's nothing better than Friday Night Lights. Don't skip through this part of it. This time with your best friends. This team that they've got this year, these guys have been friends since kindergarten, played soccer together, baseball, basketball, and, he's definitely soaking it in. He's a kid, so it's probably not sunk in, and until the last one's over. But he has, for the past 3 years, seen how hard it hit those seniors. So, he always talks about that.
Well, go ahead, Randy.
Joey, I don't say this just because it's you, but the last 10 years being in that booth has been the 30 years I've done high school football has been the best time I've ever had doing this. So Sequatchie County does it right. We've struggled at times, been through 3 head coaches, kind of got to this point. It's been a slow build. You saw it coming. It's Phil, you'd have loved Joey. After his 3rd middle school championship, he looked at me, he said, I believe it's time for me to retire as a coach. So,
well, now I was just a shade above a water boy on those middle school teams, and we had a Tyler Faulkner, and then he built that middle school program up. And so you mentioned the 3 coaches, the seniors that were seniors when Sam were freshmen had Coach Mack was their 3rd coach.
Yeah.
Sam has played 3 years for Tyler Faulkner in middle school, and then 4 years for Rusty McIntyre in high school. And it's night and day. I know it's out of the kids' control who the coach is, but the blessing of the consistency, the type of man that Coach McIntyre is phenomenal. But the consistency of him being there, them always knowing what to expect, and then heck, you waste the first month of practice teaching kids how to practice.
Yeah.
And these kids, they know what they're doing because of the consistency. They've been very blessed to have the same staff, strength program. They've had the same strength program, and some of the numbers these guys are putting up are incredible. And it's because of the consistency of the strength program.
I want to add to that before Randy goes further. That's what we talk about, especially in a new program. Player teams are coach-driven when they first start. Then they learn the practice routine. They learn the coach. And then they become player-driven, and that's when teams win. That's when coach just comes out. The kids go through the routine. They already know what's expected of them. And the coach don't have to, he just spends his time teaching, taking them to a higher level where you don't have to spend all that time teaching them how to practice. And when they become player-driven, that's when a team is successful.
Yes, sir. I'll agree with that. And this group of kids has always been a very mature group of kids and a very hard-working group of kids. They're talented, which, none of them did a thing to be talented. The Lord made them that way. But they have done their part to not waste their talents as far as the extra work, film. These kids watch film, and then they've really bought into Coach Armstrong's strength program and working out in the off season on their own. And they have a group, a text group, they call it weekend workouts, and they get together. They started their year off 9:00 New Year's Day in the indoor facility. That's how they wanted to kind of get the year kicked off. And there was 20-something kids in there, and I let them in and sit there with them and let them do their, they do their workout, and then they can have fun playing some 7-on-7. But that's all 100% player driven.
Hey, Joey, is it fair to say this is the strongest Sequatchie County football team in history?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm new to the Valley. I moved here in 12, so.
Weightlifting.
Oh, you mean strong? That I don't know that either. I couldn't tell you. I will say this: it's a strong group. I know they're stronger than they were last year because, but I don't. I know their maxes are pretty high for their weights.
Phil, when they get off the bus, there's about 10 kids over 6'4", about 245. So I don't know if they're the strongest, but they have worked hard. Let's go back to Coach Mack for just a second. When we got Coach Mack 4 years ago, you knew the talent was coming. You could see the talent. You were coaching in that younger age group with your boys, but you begin to see Sequatchie County win that age group, win that age group. When Coach Mack come, we were really in a lull, and it was a year or so till we started seeing that talent. Coach Mack really, I thought, sculpted the program in the direction like no one ever had.
I'll agree with that. It timed up really, really well where he showed up as this group of kids, and not just a talented group. The numbers are really good. It's like 16 or 17 seniors, and they're all contributors. And there's 16 or 17 juniors. They're all contributors, and like 15 or 16 sophomores. And the good part about this season is the past few years we really had to rely on the freshmen and sophomores, and the sophomores that are going to contribute are going to make significant contribution. But there's just doesn't have to be that many this year because we finally got some numbers in the senior class and the junior class. But it just timed up really well with Coach McIntyre coming in on the front end of these large groups of kids coming through that were bought in. And he also benefited from Tyler Faulkner having such a strong, well-ran middle school program that was ran like a high school program. So when they got to Coach Mack, I mean, these kids were ready. I mean, they understood what it was to practice and prepare and be a part of a program and what expectations were. I mean, these kids don't miss practice. There's not that issue. They don't miss the voluntary June workouts. They're there. And a lot of that expectation was built from Coach Faulkner when he gets them in the 6th grade.
I've already told Barker that he's just going to have to slide over when that middle school game comes over because if nothing else. Now,
I don't know if you knew this or not, Randall, but we've got Coach Faulkner up to the high school now.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
But we're going to cover at least one middle school game this year. So
okay, all right.
Visit when you do. So
okay.
Phil, we'll come back to you after this. Joey, I do have one question about the team, and then more about facilities. A couple of years ago, we got a turf, and it's a wonderful field. The night I walked the first time, I felt like I was walking on a cloud.
Yep.
Did the quarterback play part of that or maintenance to that, or is that all the school board?
That was all the school board and the admin at the time. And to be honest with you, a lot of the drive behind that was the soccer program has grown so much in Sequatchie County that it was time to, they have a soccer field, but it was time to invest some significant money into the soccer facility with concessions and lights. And so it just made sense. Bring soccer in the stadium. And they went with the turf, and now there's soccer games happening there year round.
Maintains that field a little bit. It would get chopped up by the end of football season, and then to play soccer on it was a lot for it to stand up.
Yeah, and then the lines, with soccer, you'd have to be constantly, repainting, and so it made sense for everyone, and all the kids benefit from it. Because soccer's a big program in Sequatchie County now. They have middle school boys and girls and high school boys and girls. So, that made it, no matter what the sport, they're having the kids involved in anything is important.
Phil, I think Joey's got a new press box on his list. And I've already told him once he builds it, the bathroom's named after him.
I do know that on their long-term facilities upgrades, that press box is on the list. But now I think it'll be long after my boys are done with Sequatchie County football. So I'll have to come and look at that from the crowd, I think.
Well, I just think Randall Cunningham facilities.
Yeah.
So good. I think there's a couple of snack bars named after me on set.
Yeah.
So Phil, shoot a couple more out to Joey. We'll wrap, get him out of here.
Yeah, well, I think what more toward what Randy would be named after is, since his favorite place is probably the concession stand, it may be the concession stand restaurant.
There you go.
For his ability. Well, Coach, you and Randy both talked about the physicality of this team, about having some guys that are big. When we see Sequatchie County, if I show up on a Friday night, is that what I'm going to mostly see out of this football team, is physical?
That's a good question. I definitely think that Coach McIntyre would hope so. I think the team is thought of maybe as an offensive team, score a lot of points. But this year, I think they want to be known more as a defensive team. I think they want to be very physical. I think, we want to try to get off the field a little more this year. I do think you're going to notice size. They're big at a lot of positions, really big at linebacker. All three linebackers are over 200 pounds. Really big across the front, long receivers. Jackson Tate, Gallon Brown are both really long kids on the outside. And my son, my sophomore, he's a big, long receiver. We're big at back with Hicks and Chadwick and Tripp and Austin. And, I think you'll be impressed with the size and the length of this team.
Well, and of course you talk about being an offensive team, but you and I know if you're going to win championships, if you're going to win region championships, if you're going to play for a state championship, you got to be able to stop people because, defense is consistent. Offense can be up or down. You don't never know what's going to happen. You can turn the football over. You don't execute, but defense is consistent. And if you're going to make a run, that's the most important side of the ball, I believe.
I agree with that. And, one of the coaches mentioned one of their mentors had always said, you will historically lose a game for every freshman that you start. And the past several years, Coach Mack has started as many as 5 freshmen.
I think we hit 6 at one point last year.
Yeah. And this year, another thing you're going to notice on the field are we have some phenomenal freshmen, Coach McIntyre's son being one, but we are a senior and junior-led football team.
Well, and that's good, Joey, because I think what happens there is you've probably got sophomores and freshmen that could hit the field a lot, but
Sure.
you plug them into role players, second teamers, to where they sit behind and learn how to do it the right way before they hit the field, so that they don't get thrown to the wolves and get bad habits, because that happens with young players a lot. And I think that's what you're talking about when you play a lot of freshmen. They're not ready at that level. They get into bad habits. They get mentally tired, and that makes a difference. If they're role players and you step into a position or face 6 or 8 plays during the game, that makes the whole team a lot better. Because a lot of times you're only as good as weak.
Yes, sir. And that's right too. As many one-way players as you can get. Typically means, playing longer in November. So, we'll have several kids this year that will go both ways, but now we also have several that are position specific. And that's, just being blessed with numbers.
Well, Randy, go ahead. If you want to talk about the season coming up.
Yeah, I want to do that, but let's talk real quick. I know your other son, we haven't mentioned him, Jax, is just a sophomore, and he had said, Bill, I put him on the radio with me last year because he was so missing football. He was just sitting in his chair and rock. So I just put him on the air to keep him busy. But he went through that little situation last year. He 100% for the year and feeling good.
He is. He was cleared, I don't know, mid to late March, something like that. He's getting his speed back and whatnot. He played summer basketball for the high school. I think that helped as much as anything with conditioning and getting his speed back. But, yeah, he looks a lot like his old self. The last time he played was in the 8th grade. So, he played in a few little all-star type games that summer before his freshman year. But he got dinged up in the summer. He played some 7-on-7s. So he never really played any as a freshman. So, he's grown a lot since the last time we saw him running full speed. But I thought we scrimmaged Signal Mountain the other night, and I thought he looked like his old self out there. He feels good. Mentally, he's great. It's, when you're first back from an injury, you're a little hesitant and cautious, and he's got that part behind him now, and he's loving it.
Bill, he's about a 6'4", 225, guessing.
Well, this heat's got him down. He's probably around 214, 216, something like that. But he is 6'4", playing inside linebacker, tight end, Y, H, just wherever Coach Mack needs it.
We'll split him out at times, will they not?
Mm-hmm. It will.
Yeah. So, Joey, and quickly, we'll wrap you up and get you out of here. Let's go back to the quarterback club. And by the way, both of your kids. And we can't leave Miss Millie out. She's really a little cheerleader.
Yeah, I tell everybody she's the best athlete I got for sure. But she does the dancing, gymnastics, and basketball, stuff like that.
Hey, and I love you boys, but she's the cutest of the three.
Yeah.
I want to throw that out too.
Yeah.
The quarterback club role. Do y'all have anything you want to accomplish this fall, or anything you're going to target to accomplish this fall?
Yeah. So we are going to, in partnership with the school board, we're going to remodel the locker room in the off season. It's all in all, about a $90,000 project. And the school board is footing the most of the bill, but we are going to have a little bit of skin in the game. So we're selling locker sponsorships, $500 a locker, and then you'll get like a nameplate on there. And then, so we're doing a little extra fundraising for that.
Also, we'd be remiss, and I know people all over the valley kind of supply meals, but it seems like Anthony and Teresa are the most chicken supplying place in the valley. Phil, they got good eatings, but they like some chicken on that football team.
Well, now Coach Armstrong, our strength guy, Coach Matt, kind of lets him pick the menu, and it's going to be baked, and it's going to have some green, and he's game meals. He's pretty lean. So chicken and hamburger steak. There's not a lot of ways we can go, but Anthony and Teresa's they're a good example of a lot of businesses in Sequatchie. They just want to support any way they can support, and they did a ton of our meals last year for less than cost. Brought it to us. Can't say enough about those guys.
Okay, Joey, I want to ask you about this. And of course, we see that a lot of times, especially over in Georgia. It's starting to happen a lot in Alabama. A lot of schools are combining and I can't stand to see that happen because, like with Sequatchie County, I mean, you're the main school in Sequatchie County, so I don't think you have to worry about that much. But a lot of areas, schools are combining, and I think that kills our communities because you'll look around, especially in these smaller schools, the communities support the programs so much, and when you have schools combined. Like for instance, down here in Alabama, when you had Stevenson and Bridgeport combined into North Jackson, that takes a little bit away.
I'll agree with that. I mean, I come from a county where there are two high schools, Smith County High School and Gordonsville High School, and there is the thought if they combined into one school, they could have nicer facilities and compete in other. Maybe some sports that are not available right now, but it's just like you said that, community pride and would be lost. And they start their year out on the 23rd with that Smith County Gordonsville game. And it's a big deal. And I don't think anybody wants to see that lost.
Yeah. And I think too, you'll lose kids that won't play athletics. They won't be in the band. They won't be because you're going to have too many. Like, for instance, I live down here in Valley Head. You have a 1A school. Well, if you was to combine 3 schools, a lot of these kids could play at a 3A level, and it would just knock them out of playing athletics where they're an average player and get to play when you play at a 1A school because you want all the kids you can to participate.
I'll agree with that. 100%. We're in a time right now. I grew up in a farming community, and when you got off the school bus, there were people looking for you. I mean, it was, we're doing this today, we're doing that today, all summer long. You were from a little bitty age, you were obligated. Nowadays, when kids get off the bus, a lot of times they ain't got nothing to do. So any extracurricular that you can get a kid involved in, I definitely think, helps the trajectory of their life for sure.
All right, Joey, last question. You talked about the 23rd. Travel up the road about 15 miles yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the great rivalries in high school football, the Battle for the Stump. One of the most fun games I've ever had to call. Hey, and I think I'll leave Sequatchie County a winner in that rivalry. So
yeah, they've got it.
I leave on top. But that's kind of the mark. That first 3 or 4 games, you see Bledsoe, you see Marion, you see South Pittsburg. Early on. So what's the challenge going to be like first 3 weeks of the season for these young men?
Well, the Bledsoe game's always really special for these kids. They've been playing against these same kids since Little League football and then baseball and then all the way up through middle school. They're friends with them. My son went to church Sunday with his girlfriend up in Bledsoe with some of the, a couple of Bledsoe players. And so, it's a rivalry game. They are 2A and we're 3A. So it doesn't, either way, it doesn't affect the goal of your season, which is a region championship. But, having that first is a lot of fun. Everybody's going to be excited. Nobody will have lost yet. So I'm sure that place will be packed. Then we go to our East Ridge comes to Sequatchie. Then we head up for a big time game up at Watertown. And that game last year was an absolute barn burner.
Yes,
and a win there gives you a really good chance to be playing in a region championship week 10.
Hey, also, Sequatchie County is not afraid to play the other teams, and there's great teams in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
To the next county up, you've got Marion, and you've got South Pittsburg, you got Whitwell, and I love those games too.
My prediction, and I could be wrong, but I think we will play the number 1 team in 1A, South Pittsburg on week 4. And I think we'll play the number 1 team in 2A in Marion County week 5. So that's going to be a pretty tough little back-to-back stretch right there.
That is, and of course, no preview would be done. The monster over in Middle Tennessee, that's kind of had our number the last couple of years. That is who you really got to slay to win this region, and that's Giles County.
Yeah, November 1st, and they come to our place. So, that's a long way away. We'll see. Hopefully everybody will still be upright, and we'll see what happens.
I heard there's a secret that we might play October the 31st. So I might get to see the Giles County game.
I haven't heard. Oh, you mean your team. I got you.
Yeah, so
okay.
I haven't heard you're going to. I need y'all to stay on November the 1st so that we can play October the 31st.
I can assure you that game will be on November the 1st because I don't think Giles is going to want to come over here on a school night. They get home pretty late.
Hickson plays East Ridge that night, and they've already played over the 31st. So
Halloween, I like it.
Hey, and to give you a little input on that one, Randy's already got his Halloween costume on for October 31st.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
It's the top. All right. Well, anything you want to shout out that y'all are doing right now? Any fundraisers going on?
No, I want to say thank you for all your time and hours and hours and gallons of gas that you've given to the Sequatchie County program and getting the Sequatchie County radio revitalized 10 seasons ago. And you've done all that volunteer pro bono, and we're very grateful for that. And that's why whenever you ask me for a favor like tonight, I have to say yes. I'm not allowed to sneak away.
Hey, it's been and just so people don't know, not everybody knows the story. I'm going to Hickson, so my daughter is actually going to be my spotter. And I have a 19-year-old color guy that lives in my neighborhood, and somebody else's son is going to come in and do games at Play College. This is special for me. I'm going to have my daughter standing over my shoulder calling out names. But for the last 10 years, she's came to Sequatchie. She's not completely thrilled by this either. So we love Sequatchie County. I still work over there, and I will be there every time I get a chance. And it was nothing to do with Sequatchie County. It was a chance to do something special with my little girl, and that's
yeah, absolutely. And no one blames you for that, and we hate to see you go. And you've trained Jeff up well. He's going to do a great job, and we'll help him every chance we get.
Hey, if he does bad, just call me. I'll yell at him.
Okay.
Philip, you got anything?
Oh, I just, I appreciate the conversation, Joyce. It's good to meet you and talk to you again. And of course, I wish the best for your family, your two sons that's coming up playing football. Of course, your daughter also. I'm sure they're a blessing to you. And I wish them the best. I hope Mr. Evitts has a great senior year. And gets all the accolades coming to him because it's well deserved. Because when we talked to him before, he was a well-spoken young man.
Well, we appreciate that very much, and he's in that position where he's getting a lot of credit that should be spread out amongst the other kids, last year when he got all state, he said, even the special teams, flipping the field and the defense getting the ball back, and but he's very grateful for that, and we appreciate that.
Hey, Joy, just for the future too, RiverCity-Media now broadcasts live sports events, and we're free basketball season. So
yeah, come on, Coach Hobbs. You've met with him, and Coach Hobbs and Coach Reed, just like myself and Coach McIntyre and Coach Faulkner, any opportunity to give our kids, a platform and a little exposure, we will make it work.
Let's plan on it. That's all.
Okay.
Let's plan.
All right.
Let's plan bringing on some Sequatchie County basketball. I might even talk Phil. He loves doing basketball. I might get Phil to come up here on a Saturday night and call a play.
We have a really good basketball boosters too. I'm not. My wife helps a little. I'm not able to support them like I need to be, but it's a really good group of the Rebound Club is what they're called, and I'm sure they would love to have you on, and I could probably get you one of them on to talk a little basketball a little closer to season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For Randall Cunningham, this is Beyond the Booth. This is Joey Evitts. Support Sequatchie County football. Support Squat. Hey, Sam, pretty good point guard, too.
Hey, I will say this, not just Sequatchie County football, but wherever you're at and whatever high school program you do support, I can assure you there's something you can do. You can help donate a pregame meal, a postgame meal. We provide our kids with 2 pieces of protein every day, a protein bar and a shake, Gatorade, peanut butter, and crackers. And not just the football program, all sports programs. They need washing detergent. Our coaches do all our laundry. You know, we supply them with washing detergent. So whatever program is in your area, I can assure you they can use your help. And it doesn't have to be money. It can be time. It can be snacks. But I encourage everyone to volunteer, at least a little. You know, that's what we tell our parents is volunteer one time. That's it. Just one time this season, volunteer.
Yeah, of course, Joey, you know, a lot of people don't really understand, you know, what it means. And you've made some good points there, because a lot of people only see what happens on Friday nights, you know, and that's a shame because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes.
Sure.
You need support 7 days a week, not 1 day a week.
Sure. And you know, I don't want this to sound bad, but it's not about winning or losing. A lot of time your winning and losing is the ability of the talent you have. You know, you're loaded or you're not. You've got a young team or you don't. But the 0-10 teams have kids that are out there working their tail off too. And, you know, they need to be loved on and supported, and they're still learning life lessons and, you know, trying to make themselves a better student athlete. And so the Friday night product that everyone gets to watch is a product of a lot of man hours by a lot of volunteers and a lot of underpaid coaches.
You know, that to the point, Joey, 2 of my favorite guests that we've had on, one of them has won 7 state championship and loves his kid. The other one went 2-8 last year and loves his kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the important. Coach Grant, Coach Benefield, of course. And we get privileged. A lot of times we get to talk to these coaches that are just great men, great leaders. So
it's a thankless job. It's that these guys are in the social media world where people used to lean on the fence and grumble and act like they know what they're talking about. Now they get on their phone and tell everyone. And these poor guys, you know, it's a tough job.
Yeah, you know, and so, Joe, I think that's a lot of what we try to do is when we have coaches on, we want people to know who they are as people and as individuals, because if you know something about a person, you're less apt to criticize, you know, and I think that holds true. And that's what we try to share because, you know, like I say, all the people sees what happens on Friday night. You know, sometimes they forget these are moms, dads, they've got kids, they've got grandkids. You know, they take on these student athletes like they're their own, and they mean a whole lot to them, and they don't like losing. They can't stand
yeah.
But it's just part of the process of learning about life. You know, if everything was a bed of roses, you'd take it for granted, nobody do anything. So, you know, sometimes, you know, things are hard, and people need to understand, yeah, like you say, an 0-10 kid needs patted on the back.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, you gentlemen know as well as anyone, I'm sure, that, you know, you'll wake up thinking it's a regular Tuesday, and then, you know, life will just hit you square between the eyes. And, you know, being prepared for that and how you respond after that, you know, you can't change the event that hits you between the eyes, but how you respond, you know, it is kind of can be conditioned in you from a young age, you know, and how you handle adversity. And that's one thing about, you know, my guys, my boys, you know, they've had some tough losses over the years, but the next day, you know, we're talking about, hey, we're here. Nobody put us in jail last night or eat us, or let's just try to move on from it. And perspective, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and playing competitive sports teaches you those things. Don't get too high and don't get too low.
Yep.
When you go through issues, that helps you deal with that. When I went through my liver transplant, my football coach told me, he said, Phil, everything you went through in competitive sports is going to get you through this. He said, just remember, don't get too high and don't get too low. Just kind of stay the course. And he said, everything will be fine. You're prepared for this.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Rendell Cunningham. This is Beyond the Booth. Sequatchie County, you've not saw the last of me. Joey Evitts, Phil. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Good night, and God bless.